Welcome to Guitarnivore. I'm Scott, and today in this video I'm going to show you the basics of the Boss Tone Studio mobile app for Katana Air and Katana Air EX. Let's get to it. The first window, you're going to get something like this for your Bluetooth setup. You hit connect, and it's going to scan for Bluetooth devices. And it sees my Katana Air MIDI right there. That's the one you're going to need to hook to, and it automatically connected to it. So good. So here we are on the main screen. This is the editor we're at right now. If you're familiar with Boss Tone Studio and you know what the editor is, this is where you edit your patches that you are currently using. But right now, I'm going to go through the bottom, all these settings over here, so you can kind of get an idea of the basics of the app. Then I'll double back and we'll work on the editor and the library because those two are the most complicated areas of this app. But it's not difficult. So from editor, we got sessions. You can add a YouTube video to play along or music from your library. You can import from file or the cloud, and you can export to the librarian's file or the cloud. I haven't dove deep into that, but it doesn't seem there's a whole lot to it. It's not nearly as intricate as the Spark app. Next thing up, you've got librarian. This is where you keep your live sets and where you can import and export all your files. Next up is Tone Central. This is just a small collection of patches and live sets that Boss kind of gives to you to have fun and play with. There's not a whole lot, but there's some decent ones. Now, if you want to download it, you click on it here, and you can read about what the live set is, and you can go through here and sample some of them. Or if you just want to read what they are, you can scroll down here, and it tells you what they're supposed to be. Now, you can't just add one or two. You got to add the whole set. So if you want to add the whole set, you click add. It says add a live set, and now it is in my library right there. And you can add all those if you want. Next up is your system menu. In your system menu right at the top, you got a tuner. I'm tuned a little lower on this guitar, so it's not going to quite read it right. But you can tune it between 435 and 445 hertz. Next, you got your Bluetooth settings. This is it'll show you the devices that this is connected to, that the app is connected to, and Katana Air MIDI. If you want to scan for more, you hit scan for more. We're just going to cancel out. Amp battery check. Right now it is plugged in, so it's always going to read full. Even if I don't have batteries in it, if I had it unplugged, it might show differently. Standby settings. You can change your standby settings in here from off to 5, 15, or 30 minutes. Standby, if you put your guitar and you walk away from it, it will detect there's no movement in the guitar, and it'll put your amp on standby mode. Line out and cabinet. So line out air feel is if you use the cabinet line out, it's going to kind of emulate how it'll sound, whether it's going to be sound of a recording, live, or blend. Now each one of these sound quite a little bit different. If I had it plugged in, you'd be able to hear it. Down here, you got your cabinet resonance. Now, unlike Boss Tone Studio, this isn't saved to each and every patch. It's like either on or off. So you got to choose whichever one you want as default, and that's what it is within the amp, and that is what every patch is going to sound like. So it's either vintage, modern, or deep. Pick your poison. Global EQ, it's either on or off. You only have one of them. It's not like the three you have in Tone Studio, so it's just a parametric EQ. Input, output, 2 pages worth of settings, no level, just adjusting the frequencies and the levels and the Q for that one. USB settings, if you're going to record USB out and you need to make some adjustments to it as far as the mix levels, loop back, and dry out level, this is where you make it. You got your owner's manual if you want to download your owner's manual to your tablet or phone. Guitar wireless, that is this thing right here. And the closer it is to the amp, you're going to get more bars. Wireless pedal settings. If you have a wireless pedal, this is where you can make all those changes and customize it. Show Bluetooth setup screen. So when you first start the app, you get a little setup screen for kind of walking you through how to connect to the Bluetooth. And if there's a little box that says check do not show again, and if you check that box, you'll never see it again. But if you want to see it again, you click here and hit OK, and it'll start showing again. And lastly, version shows all of your software version for the app, licenses, and all that jazz. And that is it for the basics of the app. So now we're inside the editor, and we're just going to go through, and it's like I said, it's not rocket science. you'll be able to figure it out. But this is the basic editor part of it, and it goes a little deeper, and I'll show you that in a second here. So amp and EQ, this is where you choose your amp, your gain, your volume, and your EQ. Over here, you can adjust your boost or mod, delay and effects, your reverb or delay 2, presence, and your chain. You only get 3 chains. It's either every effect after the amp EQ, the boost and mod before the amp EQ, or the boost and effects before the amp EQ. Let's do a little editing. Let's pick a patch. Let's go high gain lead. Okay, this is what the high gain lead sounds like in the background. You're not going to hear it very well. So let's go over to boost and mod, and obviously there's a clean boost on, and we're running the lead amp. There is no chorus because you can only run one or the other on this, okay? So if we go back to this screen, if we wanted a chorus, we would have to push this level up above here. And now the boost is off, and you can turn the mod on. And then you can change your mods in here. Now, when you're inside a mod, if you want to make an adjustment, you put your finger on it, you go up or down, okay? If you want to be more precise, you put your finger on it and hold it for just a second, and that menu pops up. And then you can, make it plus or minus 44 or whatever. Going back here, we'll put it back on boost over here. I don't remember exactly what it was on. We can do that, and that should put it back, maybe. Down here, like I said, you either got delay and effects. So if you want a delay in there, this is going to be how we're going to work around it. So let's say we don't want that delay. We want, let's say we want a flanger in there. So we're going to come down here. We're going to find the flanger, and then we can make our adjustments to it. But now you don't have that delay. The delay is off. So we go back. Now you got your reverb and your presence. Presence is cranked. You can adjust that a little bit, but if you want the delay and an FX in there, this is how you do it. So on this reverb, you got 3 settings. You can have delay 2, which is just a delay. So delay 2 and the reverb, or just a reverb. So we're going to add delay 2 to it. That way we can have a delay in there. And we're going to use a panning delay. And now we can actually just skip over here to the reverb. Whenever you're in editing mode here, you'll have all these options up here, and you can just jump to them if you need to. The only time you really have to go back is when you need to change that one, or if you need to differentiate whether you want a delay and effects or a boost and a mod. So let's go back into editing. Now we've already got delay 2, so we want a reverb. So our delay 2 is on. I don't know if it's panning. I can't hear it through here. But we're going to take our reverb, and we're going to crank that a little bit. So now we got a reverb. And if you got it set on spring, then you have some more options over here. Spring sensitivity, but we're going to put it back on Hall. And now this patch has a clean boost. It has a flanger. It has delay and reverb, and then presence. Now our chain, we're going to leave the chain right where it's at. It's fine. But we want to go back and check our parametric EQ if we got one. Because over here you still have your EQ, but you only have a parametric EQ in here. And it's just like the one in Boss Tone Studio for Mark II. And then you got your noise suppressor. So now that we've made some changes, let's write it. So right now, this is what we got going on here. These are all factory settings, so we're going to save it right over that high gain lead. So we're going to go here, we're going to hit write, and we're going to write it. And then we're just going to call it high gain lead 2. And it's going to save the same one we just had, so we're going to hit write. And now it's saved as high gain lead 2. And that's the basics of editing. It's that simple. Library gets a little more complicated. Let's jump into that one. Jumping over to our librarian. we'll just start with the basics. Create a live set. You want to create a live set, you hit create a live set. You name it. Let's name it just for fun. Okay. And now we got one in there, just for fun. It has 0 patches in it, so let's import. Okay, we're gonna import from the amp, and we're gonna use Katana. And it's gonna say select a patch. You can select all the patches and put in that live set as a backup of that particular live set, or you can choose, which ones you want to go to, and just pick a couple of them, or you can just select a patch. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to high gain lead, select, and hit OK. And we're going to hit next, and it's going to ask you where you want to save it to. You can create a live set here, or you can select a live set, and we're going to select just for fun, import. And now we have a patch in there. Now, if you want to import from, let's say, if you want to import from a backup or a file, you click File and hit Next, and it's going to take you to this folder that's somewhere within the app. I haven't dug deep enough to find it yet, but we're gonna download that one from File, and now we have a whole new live set here. You can't export individual patches to like a file. You can only export individual patches to a channel, and you can only import entire and export entire live sets. Okay, and if we want to do this from the cloud, you hit cloud, hit next, and you might have a little window that pops up here asking, where you want to download it from. I got mine connected to my Google Drive, so I'm going to just select this one, and it has imported Modern Metal. So that's the basics of importing. Now, if you want to delete live sets before we go into exporting, what we want to do is go to Edit up here, and then you can copy or delete. Now, I'm going to delete this one because I've already got it up here. So I'm going to hit that, and I'm going to hit Delete. It's going to ask me if I'm sure I want to delete it. And then if you want to delete, let's say, individuals, you got to first open up that live set, and then you hit Edit again. And then it'll give you the option of which ones you want to delete. And it's that easy. Now, as far as exporting, let's say you want to export these to your Google Drive so you can download them later, or so you can upload them to Boss Tone Exchange. I haven't found an easy way to export to Boss Tone Exchange from here. I don't think there is a way. So if you want to export or even import, you got to have it saved like somewhere you can get it, like on a Google Drive. So we're going to export, and we can export to the Katana Air, and that's what we're going to do. This is exporting to the Katana Air means you're just taking a patch from a live set and writing it to a channel on the amp. So we're going to hit next here, and then we're just going to select the patch. We're going to first select a live set, and let's just select Sabbath here. And there's only one, no, there's 2 live sets in there. So we're going to hit Bloody Sabbath, and we're going to hit OK, and we're going to hit next, and it's going to ask you where you want to write it to, and we're going to just pick one. And now if you look up here, this is your amp channels. You can click here and it'll show you all your different amp channels. So there it is, Sabbath or Bloody Sabbath down there. Now you want to export to file. We're going to choose a live set, and let's choose just for fun. We're going to export it, and it's going to ask you where you can just put it in this folder, whatever, or if you got another folder, you can create another folder, or you can save it to a regular folder and hit save. It's going to ask you file name, just for fun. Now it's in there. If you want to export to the cloud, you're going to hit cloud. We're going to select the live set just for fun. We're going to hit export, and it's going to see right down here, share to a device. We're going to hit drive, and it's going to open up my Google Drive, and I do have a folder in my Google Drive already there called BTS Air Files, and that's where I'm going to save it to. So I'm going to hit save, and now it's uploading to my Google Cloud. So it's out there now. So that's importing, exporting, creating live sets. If you want to rename live sets, you just touch the little 3 dots, and then you can rename it and hit OK. If you want to rename patches within there, go into the live set, same thing, click there, and change the name. And I think that pretty much covers everything in Librarian. I hope I didn't miss anything. And if I did, hey, shoot me a comment down there, and I'll try to answer it the best I can. So that's the basics of editing the Librarian and everything in Boss Tone Studio app for Katana Air EX. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to me, and we'll see you next time.